Hello, I'm Dr. Sara Abosch-Jacobson, Chief Education Officer at the Dallas Holocaust and Human Rights Museum.
The museum is much more than a history museum. Here, visitors are introduced to the worst of humanity and also meet the best of humanity, upstanders, people who see something wrong and work to make it right. Our exhibition begins with the Holocaust, the deliberate persecution and murder of 6 million Jews by the Nazis and their collaborators. Then, in the Human Rights Wing, we see how the Holocaust influenced the creation of modern human rights and explore the 10 stages of genocide. Finally, we turn towards home. In the U.S., our system encourages us to strive for ideals, but the reality is the journey to equal rights has varied, and for some, discrimination persists. We must continue to work for repair to bring our ideals more closely into accord with reality for all Americans. LGBTQ Americans have lived without basic human rights and equality for centuries. This has begun to change only recently. The museum traces the repair process for groups and individuals in American history, including the movement for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer rights. The history of the LGBTQ community is represented in each wing of the museum. As you explore our permanent exhibition, be sure to stop at the following locations to learn more about LGBTQ history and rights. In the Holocaust wing, you'll learn about the persecution of gay men in Nazi-occupied Europe. In 1933, Hitler assumed power and declared homosexuality a crime. Gay organizations were banned, gay bars were raided, and scholarly books about homosexuality, like those by Jewish gay rights campaigner Magnus Hirschfeld, were burned. Some gay men were sent to concentration camps, where they were identified by an armband or patch that displayed a pink triangle. This form of symbolization was regarded as a mark of shame in the camps. Ultimately, at least 5,000 homosexual men died in concentration camps. In the Human Rights Wing, view the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This document outlines the rights granted to all people by virtue of being human. While this is an aspirational rather than a legal document, it is important to know your rights so that they cannot be taken away. Freedom from discrimination on the grounds of sexual orientation is found in various articles of this declaration, including the rights to marriage and family, freedom of expression, and privacy. In the final wing, Pivot to America, Micah England is one of nearly 20 LGBTQ upstanders highlighted. England was denied entrance into the Dallas Police Academy because of her sexual orientation. With the help of the Dallas Gay Alliance, she sued the state, city, and chief of police. England's lawsuit was successful, and Dallas was required to change its hiring policies. Listen to Micah England's testimony at one of the interactive testimony stations on our Texas Upstander wall. The American Ideals, Reality, and Repair, also known as AIR Gallery, features interactive kiosks which allow you to explore pivotal moments in American LGBTQ history. The timeline outlines realities such as discriminatory policies and social practices like the Immigration Act of 1917, which prevented the immigration of homosexuals to the U.S., and the 1952 publication of the first Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, which labeled homosexuality a mental disorder. AIR also highlights upstanders who worked for justice and the repair process by which they changed history. Here, you'll meet Texas upstanders Reed Erickson and Ron Woodruff. Erickson, a transgender man, dedicated his life to the philanthropic support of early gay rights movements and raising awareness and support for transgender people. Woodruff, a Dallas electrician, created the Dallas Buyers Club, part of his efforts to find and distribute HIV drugs when local hospitals provided inadequate care to AIDS patients. Finally, learn about local and national LGBTQ rights organizations that you can get involved with in our Call to Action Corner.